for it to go live. And we are live. Hi, this is Sean, your returning citizen with Wings Week in Review, right here live from Wings for Life International, our studio in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Right now, I got two guests from Goodwill Industries. We're going to talk to them in just a minute. First, I've got Ann Enenfeld Sweet here. She is the founder and of this Wings for Life International. She's going to give me an update on what happened this week, and I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ann with Wings, and here we are. We have had another incredible week. Let's see. Oh, yes, that's right. Monday night. I'm wondering, what did we do on Monday night? It was our back-to-school fashion show, and was that fun? We had probably 20, 30 boxes of clothing that we set out all over the place. Everybody got to pick out some clothes. Some of us came in our secondhand clothes, and but other people picked out outfits, and we had a fashion show. And it was wonderful. We learned how to pick out used clothing. Yeah, it was so much fun. And so that was really just a great, great night. And this Monday, we've got, actually, this is going to be interesting. We've got a UNM basketball star. And then he played in Sweden on a basketball team, but now he has gone into the real world of work. And he is a suicide prevention specialist. And so he's going to talk about suicide, and which is very appropriate at the beginning of the year, because a lot of kids are all stressed out and can I do it? And I'm behind, or whatever is going on. And so we want them to be, everybody to be aware of how do we help somebody when they are feeling suicidal. And we just had a speaker not long ago talk about 5 and 6 year olds. That's the growing trend. Wow. 5 and 6 year olds committing suicide. Can you imagine such a horrible thing? It's horrible. So we are going to have a basketball star that is going to be helping us to know what to do. And so I'm very excited about that. Now, of course, tomorrow we have our it's our 27th annual back to school party. But this is, for the last 2 years, it's been all virtual, of course, with COVID. And so we are thrilled that we are going to be back in person. So we're going to be singing. We're going to be putting on costumes and doing a story. We're going to be doing crafts and activities. And then we're going to be eating together pizza, cookies, homemade cookies, delicious homemade cookies and punch. And then the kids all get to pick out backpacks. And then church here in Albuquerque, Shepherd of the Valley Presbyterian Church, they made about 100 homemade blankets, hand crocheted, hand knitted, and or quilted blankets. And the kids are going to get to pick out a blanket. So, you know, even the older kids, they get to pick out something too. And of course, backpacks and all the school supplies. And so, and then we have another nonprofit called the 1687 Foundation, and they have shipped us thousands of dollars worth of brand new books to give out to everybody. So it is going to be a great party tomorrow. We will be at Sandia, if you're in Albuquerque, Sandia Presbyterian Church, and that's really at the corner of Paseo and Eubank. And that party is from 1 to 4. And we've got our bike guy, Steve, our bike guy is going to bring bikes. We're going to have drawings for bikes. And then, of course, all the other goodies. So we've got always a lot going on here. We are glad you are here with Wings Week in Review. So I think that's probably enough, because we have some wonderful guests here from Goodwill. And so whether you're listening here in Albuquerque or anywhere, there are Goodwills, of course, all across the country. And they have standardized programming. And so whatever they share with you today will be probably available in your community as well. So Sean, I'll let you take it away unless there are any questions for me. So check it out and see. I don't know. I didn't look.
Thank you very much, Ann. Thank you. Ann was also able to hire a returning citizen too this week. Somebody I personally know. So there are jobs for us when we get out. Speaking of jobs for us, that's
a big topic for us.
So I have Ron and Laura here today, and I know a lot of you guys have heard of Goodwill, and you saw the thrift stores. And a lot of people just think, "Oh, Goodwill, they'll just call up Goodwill, they'll come pick it up." they don't really know what you guys do and what you offer. And I know you have a
Right.
lot of service and
We
stuff.
do. We
That's
do.
why I asked you to come in.
We
So
appreciate
why don't you
that.
guys take a turn each, introduce yourself, tell us what you got, what you guys do.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Laura Whitney. I'm an HVRP case manager, and HVRP is homeless reintegration or veteran reintegration program.
Mhm.
Our portion of the program is employment, so we help them, and we try to. The objective, of course, is to obtain and retain employment.
Yeah.
And I know you have paid training jobs for
Yeah,
people.
we-
I mean,
Absolutely.
they get on the job training and paid at the same time, right?
Absolutely,
Right,
that
yeah.
works.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
And it doesn't matter if they just got out of jail or prison or homeless or right. You guys
Exactly.
you don't discriminate, right?
No.
Absolutely.
You hear that,
Absolutely.
guys?
Well, I'll introduce myself. My name is Ron Savedo, and I am also with Goodwill Industries of New Mexico, and I am the HVRP program manager. And so, as Sean alluded to, there's a lot of programs at Goodwill, and I'd like to just maybe start a little bit from the top, because I know that a lot of folks out in the community think that Goodwill, and they think about the retail store, they can go in and make some good finds, and that is absolutely true. There's a lot of good finds, a lot of cool stuff coming through Goodwill, and so please, take some time and go through the store, find the things that you need. And that makes you part of the program, really, because what we're doing is we're taking in those donations. Those donations are turned into merchandised in the store. Sometimes they're cleaned up, fixed up, sorted out, whatnot. And, we've got a number of stores, throughout the city for sure. We're out, throughout the state.
Yeah, I had a question. Do you know how many stores you have in Albuquerque?
I believe that there's 8 stores in Albuquerque.
That's a lot.
There's a lot. So there's one near you. And so all that stuff that you buy, that money goes to the programs. And that's the whole idea there, is to take donations and convert them into cash, right? And so that we have that resource available to turn into the programs. Everything we do is about supporting the programs. And so that, along with the partnership of the federal government, we're able to have certain programs. And
I didn't even know you had partners with the government. So you have government. Yeah, let's get into that too when you get around to it.
Absolutely. So we bring in the donations, and again, we use those monies to run some of the programs, but we also get support from the federal government in the way of grants that that we have to apply for and work hard to keep those grants. And they're really good about it, but they give us the ability to get out there and reach more folks. And so we're helping the general public, we're helping veterans, we're helping seniors, we're helping folks do a lot of different things. We have programs that are all about finding employment. So there's veteran specific employment, programs out there like ours, HVRP, and then we also have VFS, which is Veterans Family Services. I'll break them down a little bit.
And,
so you'll
and
know
you
the
mentioned
difference.
seniors. What is that age? Is that 50 above, 55,
Yeah,
60?
so 55. So that's our CSEP
I
program.
qualify then. I'm 58.
We both
No,
do.
because some are
Yeah,
60 and some are
exactly.
55.
Yeah, depending on the program.
All right.
And so, that's our CSEP program. And so, absolutely, again, just a really good deal that's going to help people find some work or prepare them for work or help them find some paid training. So something else that you could look into. Now, we also have Good Jobs is another program that we have, and that's going to help your basic public or civilians find employment, and 18 and above. And
So
we have
Good
case
Jobs.
nurse-
Is that a trick on words there? I mean, is
It
it
is.
really a good job?
It's a really good job. And nowadays, any job's a good job.
They
right?
are, yeah.
When you compare no job to a job, the job is a good job.
Good job.
Good
Good job answering that.
Good job answering that. And so we have a number of employment specialists that will help. We call them career specialists, and
Okay.
they'll help folks find jobs. Now, when you look at our program, HVRP, and that's the Homeless Veteran Reintegration Program, yes, it starts out with homeless, but I think there's also the opportunity here to let people know that homelessness has a lot of faces, right? And so,
Oh, it's sure. You got
Yeah.
people living in your car. People standing at somebody's couch. They're in between whatever.
couch surfing
Things
is
like
what we
that.
call that.
I mean, we see them on the bench. There was a guy underneath the tree here the other day because
Right.
it's shady. Those are the ones you see out there.
Those are the ones
But-
you see.
But there's working homeless, and I've been one of those.
Yes,
I came from San Francisco,
yes.
so it's
So
if
know
you're
about
making
that, yeah.
$15 an hour, you can't really. I lived in my car and had a job
Right.
for $15 an hour,
Right,
but I
still
couldn't find a place.
couldn't find a
And I
place.
lived
You
in my
needed-
car for a while. I eventually found, sharing a
Right.
room, $900 to share a room, and
Right.
my whole paycheck went for it. Now I'm here,
Yeah.
and Thank you, Albuquerque.
Yeah,
Thank
live
you,
the life.
Albuquerque.
So now I can survive on 15.
And
Now we're here.
And you're doing the community good,
But
too,
I-
so we're glad to have
But
you.
I was the working homeless in my car, and I
Yeah.
stayed at a rest area off the side of the freeway.
Oh, yeah.
There must have been 100 of us. Everybody
Yeah.
there had a job, and we were all sleeping in our cars.
Right,
And it was a safe place. We weren't
Right.
like the homeless. It wasn't a dangerous
right.
place, but I had to live like that for about
Right.
4 months.
And
you
you
know?
probably came across a lot of people that had a slightly different story.
Oh yeah.
And everybody has a different situation. Some folks, they may have a home, but they're being evicted and they need help because
And then
maybe
that's
they
on
haven't
your
been
record,
working.
and now nobody wants to rent to you. And
Right.
if you
We
have
can-
bad credit,
we can help
right?
those
Or if you
folks.
just
too.
got out of jail because they do
Right.
these background checks on you.
Right.
So landlords are picky too.
Yeah,
You
right.
might even have the money to move in, but now they want to know more about you.
We
And-
also
and they're going to take the person with no criminal history, with good
Right.
credit,
right,
and no evictions. They're going to pick them first,
right.
you know, and
Right.
then the rest of us are out there. So it's more than just the guy on the bench.
It's going to include a ton of different people that make up that quadrant or that population. And then those same folks, not only do they need to find employment, but they also need to find a place to stay. And they need that housing support. So we have another program called SSVF. So supportive services for veteran families. And we can work hand in hand with them. They're probably our strongest partner because we know that in order to have a job, you got to have a place to stay.
Yeah.
And in order to have a place to stay, you have to have a job. And so to really, truly change a person's life, we've got to be able to kind of marry those two together. And then both of these programs are really wraparound services. So not only are we going to help them find employment, we're going to refer them to, places like SSVF, but we're also going to refer folks, veterans, to other services out in the community. So we really try to stay in touch and in tune and foster relationships with other services out there. So if a gentleman, has maybe a physical ailment or maybe, documentation that's needed or whatever, and if we can't provide that, we're more than likely in contact with somebody that we can't.
That's why we all need each other. That's why
Right.
every week
We're
I try
here
to
with you,
find
yeah.
all these
Right.
organizations.
Exactly.
If we all come together, we're one big
Exactly.
power.
Exactly.
You know?
The
You're
more
right.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it amazes me how many things you guys do.
It
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Thank
was
you for
amazing.
having us, though.
Yeah,
We were
and so-
definitely.
We're absolutely happy to be there and partner up with you.
Yes.
But I did want to talk a little bit about the eligibility,
Okay.
to be able to get into the program.
Yeah. That was one of my
One of your questions.
curiosities. Yeah.
Yeah. So to get into HVRP, it's real simple.
I just want to. Any questions out there, guys? Now's the time to ask.
Yeah.
You know someone getting out of prison. You have a family member coming out soon. Maybe you need a job. Maybe you need training. Whoever is watching, and it doesn't not just Albuquerque, because Goodwill is every state, right?
Exactly.
Well, there are different Goodwills throughout the country.
You have a great reputation in the
We
Bay
do.
Area.
We
so,
represent Goodwill Industries of New Mexico.
okay.
Now, there's Goodwill Industries in every state. They
Sure.
fly under the same Goodwill flag,
Okay.
but they're all different corporations.
Okay.
So, but yes, they're all set up the same way where the programs may not exactly mimic one another, but they
Right.
have like programs and they all have basically the same mission. So,
Okay.
yeah, so you're right on that. And so, but as far as the eligibility, it's real simple. Okay, it's real simple. If you're a veteran, if you've had anything other than a dishonorable discharge, and if you've served active duty at least one day, you qualify for our program. Of course, you have to be 18 years or older.
No, dishonorable, no.
Dishonorable, we can't help. But, if somebody needs help and they come to us, we're not going to just, turn our back on them and tell them we
Because
can't
I've
help them. We will
known-
find somebody that will help them.
I've known people that are in recovery now, but they
Mm.
got a dishonorable because of drugs
Right,
in the military.
Right.
And so they were asked to leave,
right.
but they can't, they don't qualify them.
They wouldn't qualify for our program, but once again, we're going to do our best to help them and point them in the right direction, see if we can find somebody that would be able to
Okay.
help them.
And they
Okay.
would probably with good jobs. So exactly.
Oh, with
so,
good jobs.
right. So they would
Good
still be able to participate with Goodwill.
Oh, that's
Right.
good
It's-
news.
yeah, absolutely.
So-
So yeah, it's just that HVRP and like SSVF and VFS are specific to that. So they can have anything other than dishonorable to participate with
Right.
those veteran programs. But we do have good jobs and CSAP, of course.
Okay. Because having been homeless myself and talked to them in San
Right.
Francisco, where you guys you haven't even seen a homeless where I come 20 blocks of tents, but
I saw that on TV.
yeah,
Well, TV.
it's real out
But
there.
yeah,
It's
I
real
saw a
out there.
documentary really talked about the problem, and it's not going away.
It's
And
getting
I know a
worse.
lot of folks are
It's
concerned
spreading
about it.
every
Right.
every suburb now in the
Mhm.
Bay Area, and LA's really bad, and
Mhm.
Portland and Seattle.
But I will tell you
Denver.
something that you're very, very, very right about, and that's if all these services come together and work with one another, that's a real true power right
Yeah,
there.
we
And
can't-
that's how we
right.
change things.
Because we're supposed to be a nonprofit. We're not in it for the money or the power, guys. So why are some of these? I won't mention any names, but there are some that don't want to. They don't want to include anybody else.
Yeah, we're
And,
not. We're
We're not that.
we're
Every
one-
week, watch us every week. We'll prove that.
We're here to help people no matter what. We're nonprofit. I don't even get a nice uniform like yours.
Oh, yeah. And
Or a
like,
badge.
unlike Salvation Army, they have the generals and the captains. Because that's a good program too. I don't know
Yes,
if you guys.
yeah, and we do. We
Is that your rival? I don't know.
No,
Okay.
no,
We
no,
have
no.
no
We
rivals.
partner with everyone. Like I said, the more hands we and part of the thing we do is outreach. So like when when we met you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we like to go into the community and
Mhm.
we find so if there's something that we can't do, that's why we connect with other
Right.
facilities and programs.
Sure.
So that way we can say, hey, this is where we can send you. And,
Right.
like you said, the wraparound services. And the more research we do or the more outreach,
Right.
then the
Right.
more
That's-
most
Good.
helpful we
We're in
are.
touch with other agents, Best Chance, Women in Leadership.
Mhm.
There's 3 or 4
There's a
programs
lot
now
of great.
just for women,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
very
Berry
much
House, yeah.
needed.
Very
Yeah,
much.
there you
needed.
go.
yeah,
So,
there are several.
you call us if we can't help. You call them.
There's
if
exactly.
you can't,
And we do
call
have
us.
we call it a street sheet. And then we can provide that. We can email
great.
it, send it, scan it, whatever
So
you want to do.
people-
Yeah.
we try to keep a good database of other services out there that can help, and more specifically, what they can help with.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of a big, long shopping list. And what do you need? Here's where you can
Yeah.
go. So
So a comment
Yeah.
for you, Sparky Buff. Sounds like a commendable program. And also, TJ, I
Thank
saw
you.
you earlier. Hello. These
Yeah.
are some of our regulars that come on here.
yeah,
So let me ask you this: do you guys cover substance abuse help at all, or
That falls-
referral, or
that falls under our wraparound services portion of our program.
like
And so-
residential programs at all?
Yeah,
or
we keep in
outpatient?
touch. Yes, we keep in touch with folks a lot of folks that deal with that. There's a lot of resources out there. We have some great contacts out there, and so yes, we want to be able to, talk to the applicant, find out, really what he needs and where he's coming from and where he's been, and then refer him to the right program. We'll make phone calls on their behalf and try to see that through, because we know that going to work, you kind of have to be right. You have to be mission ready for employment.
Yeah,
And
it's
if we
kind of
can-
hard to smoke crack till 4 a.m. and then make
Go
it
to
to the
work.
job at
I
at
know
7.
Many
I
have
just
tried.
I'm just saying.
Well, I don't know. You might be motivated.
Oh, there are functional addicts, but they don't last
Yeah,
long. They don't
no,
last
and
long.
that is
They
true.
don't last
Yeah.
long. We focus on sustainability of employment, and so we want to remove all those barriers before we get them in employment, because a lot of folks that are facing this hardship, they've had enough disappointment in their life.
Yeah.
We don't need to set them up for something and they're going to fail at it, right? So we want to set them up to where they can handle this and get them right, physically. And I mean, there's also a lot of times there's personal things going in their life, with families and relationships. And
All right.
if we can help in any way to get them in a place where they can get up, make lunch, go to work, have a good time, be productive, right? And then come home and relax and enjoy what they've worked for. That's the goal, right? And
Sounds
here-
like the American dream is kind of what we all want.
That's what
really,
we
right?
want.
Kind of at the end of the day.
Can I tell you a little bit about how we get them there?
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. So what we do is, once we do their intake, and it's a really quick process, they're going to come in, we're going to meet with them for about an hour, and we're going to sit down and fill out some paperwork. And a lot of that is discovery, because we want to find out what they're all about, what ails them. I want to know where they live, if they have their own transportation or that public transportation. That matters, right? To getting employed.
Sure does.
I want to find out, what they're good at, what they've done, their education, if they have PTSD, what are their triggers. So we ask a lot of questions, and some of them, personal. Now, they don't have to answer them all, but, the more they answer and the more forthcoming they are, the better off we are in regards to putting together a plan to help them. So once we've done that, we put together an IEP, which is an individual employment plan. That individual employment plan is just that. It's a plan of employment for that individual. So that guy's plan isn't going to be the same as somebody else's plan, right? So we try to work it. So they're assigned a case manager, such as Laura, and then so she's going to meet with that person once a week. And in that weekly meeting, it kind of builds from start to ready to get a job. And so she's going to start with maybe a little bit more discovery, close the loop on some questions, provide some resources, get them connected. Then it's about getting their work history, building a resume for them. If they're not computer savvy, we'll do applications for them. We'll provide job leads. Now, the expectation is that they respond to those job leads. And if they get invited to an interview, we start working on how do we prep for an interview? How do we, we'll even help them get close for that interview. And we'll even do a mock interview with them so that they
Those
walk
are
in
good
there.
to know.
Yeah, they walk in there because,
I know the when they ask you, can you give me, what do you, 3 negative things about
Right.
3?
Right.
I
What,
just want to be prepared.
what's the word they say when they give me 3 bad things about yourself? But they don't say it like
Yeah.
that.
For
How
the
do they-
strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, strengths
Yeah.
and weaknesses. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So
Well, first one is I'm frozen right now.
that's one of my right. So we actually talk about that, and we tell them how to answer that and turn that into a value, because everything that comes out of your mouth in an interview should be about how valuable you are or can be for that organization.
Right.
This is not anything less than a business meeting. So we have that kind of conversation in a very real, down-to-earth language, something anybody can understand. We don't take it over the top and try to impress anybody. It's just, it's talk. It's shop talk. And so once we get them prepared for that, they go through the mock interview. We get them on the way to, find employment. And when they find employment, we're going to be there for them to help them even financially. So let's say they say, hey, I can have this job if I have steel toe boots, or if I have, this certain tool, or if I have a hard hat, we're going to help them with that. If they're participating in our program and their heart is in trying to find employment, then we're going to help them. Our heart is in supporting that. Right. And so we continue that. But here's the really, really, really cool part. Once we've sent them through all those, skills workshops, if you want to call them that, and that, interview training and soft skills training, and good conversation with their case manager, job search, applications, all that, they find employment, we keep them for a year. Now, the reason we do that is because this is not just about getting this guy a job and then, hey, see ya.
Yeah, see ya. Good
No,
luck in the rest of your
we're there
life.
for-
Next.
Yeah, next. We're there for a year, and we're calling them to check in on them. Now, we don't want to call them every day because they got a new job, right? But if we call them at least once a month, and they're free to call us if they have issues.
But you're giving them encouragement, letting them know I care about you. And
Thank
sometimes
you.
you
Yes.
just need somebody else to believe in you,
Sometimes
just to get yourself to believe in you. I know that's what it took for me.
Right. Well,
And that's what I try to
look at it
pass
like
on to
this.
others.
And this is a real thing that happens a lot. I'll have a client call back, or I'll have somebody call back, and they're talking about maybe how mean their boss is.
Yeah.
So we're trained to say, okay, let's talk about that.
Right.
And by letting them talk, then they start to realize, oh, it's not the boss.
Sometimes,
it's me.
if they stop
It's
and
me.
hear themselves,
And so, oh wow, this is what I could do. And then we throw out some ideas. Give them the option to maybe choose their own destiny. What can you do to fix that? What can you do to avoid that? What can you do to control
Sounds
that?
like the 12 steps to me.
It kind
I'm
of
in
is.
recovery.
It could be.
I've been
Yeah.
recovery 6 years now. So
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're doing well. And so,
but that's our
Yeah.
4th and 5th and 7th and 8th, 9th step right there. You mentioned.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
but
real one.
But it's true.
Yeah, it's a very real one.
It is.
So,
They just need to have a rapport,
Yeah,
and that is the biggest thing. Like just like you
Mhm.
said, talking with somebody,
Mhm.
no judgment, being able to just
yes.
communicate with them on
Right.
a level.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it means the world. If you have rapport with somebody, you're obviously going to still keep those appointments. You're
Yeah.
going to share things that maybe you wouldn't, and then you need to if I'm going to find you the best job I can get for you. So
Right, absolutely. So all that is really leads to forging out a career versus just a job. Because
Right.
once they've stabilized themselves and we're talking to them of the importance of having great soft skills, and they get viewed as that person that brings a lot of value to the team.
They build
Now
their
they're in
self-worth.
line for
Yeah.
more money, for promotion, more responsibility, additional training, and that's when you really get to.
But
turn
I
your
want all
job
this
into
by
career.
Tuesday.
You
I
want it all
want it all
by
to
Tuesday?
happen by Tuesday.
Oh, that's not the first time I've
Do
heard
you
that.
get this?
Yeah.
How often do you
the
hear
thing
that?
is that I could probably get you a job by Tuesday.
Yes. But my
I'm
response-
that confident.
my response to that is always, okay, let's start with our short-term goals and then our
And
long-term
long
goals.
terms, yeah.
Because we have to be realistic. And I think that's another thing that my team brings to the table is we're very realistic with people. That we know that the world out there is tough. We know that the demand for valued employees is high, but do folks understand what that means, right? It's
Right.
about providing that
value
value.
input, yeah.
Yeah.
And to get you've got to get
Yeah.
to give, and
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how you keep a job, and that's how you turn it into a career. And so that's really what we're trying to teach. So, and you think about the old saying, teach a man, give a man a fish, he eats for a
Right.
day, teach him how to fish.
and
And that's
for a
what,
lifetime.
that's what we're doing. We want to teach them what value really is in the workplace, and then they know that they can build on that and they can sustain that, and that they have that in them, because maybe nobody's ever told them what that is, right? So it's more than just providing the dynamics of job opportunities. That's the easy part. So that's
If
one of
you're
the things-
living out here on the streets, nobody's really going to tell you all those good. They're not going to.
all you're doing
They're
is
not going to build up your. Like, hey, you're the greatest homeless guy I've ever met. You should be out there doing big things for your life. Why are
right,
you out here?
right.
People don't. They don't. It's
Right.
doom and gloom out there.
Yeah,
and,
you need to know when you're doing something that works,
Yeah.
because often enough those things that work, they're not so evident at first. You might feel like you're doing it for nothing,
Right.
but those things take time to pay off, and you have to repeat that before somebody trusts you, believes in
And
you,
trust has got to be
sees your
earned, and that's
worth.
a two-way street too.
It
And a lot
is.
of people don't get that.
It is. So we
Why
try-
don't they trust me?
right? Yeah, and
then you got to look at your.
a lot of
Well, why don't they? Let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
yes,
Right?
well, and a lot of this team has been through those hard knocks, those experiences. I think we all do growing up,
Sure.
and I think that we're all just fortunate and happy to be there, sharing that kind of real life experience with others and helping them carve out their path. And it's never too late to start a new path. And the other thing I wanted to say about all this is that if you're viewing this and you're not sure where you fit in the programs at Goodwill, give us a call. We have plenty of people standing by to say,
The number's been on the screen too, guys, the whole
Yes,
time. I've got
great.
your 505-881-6401.
that is our main
I
number.
got it right. Good.
And
Okay.
the minute you say I'm looking for employment, they're going to send you to the right person. If you're looking for housing, send you to the right person. So please just give us a call and let us worry about what program you're supposed to be in. I guarantee you, we want to put you in the best program that is basically the best fit for you. And you might be in two programs, like I said, SSVF and HVRP work hand in hand. We're really dedicated to supplying folks with employment and housing and changing their lives.
Can I ask you about the paid training
Yeah.
and how much is that? Is that $12 an hour? Is it $15 an hour?
Yeah, I definitely want
Because they're
to.
going to want to know.
I think everybody knows how much I love trial works.
I know. I was gonna say yeah. So Charles.
I love our Trial Works program. Trial Works program is basically a program that comes through VFS, but in HVRP, because it's a veteran-sponsored program, HVRP clients also get to participate in that program. So we would get you in there. And the way that works is it pays $13.50 an hour. You're basically going to work for Goodwill in that donation process. So you become, it's kind of a play it forward kind of thing, because you become part of that team that's creating dollars, and those dollars go to supporting the programs, and that's the program you're in. So, but there's just a couple opportunities that often people aren't aware of. When you're in that program, you still have a caseworker. So let's say you signed up with Laura and she's helping you find a job, but she says to you, hey, I know you need money right now. Let's get you in this paid training program, and it's going to pay $13.50. This will start at 13. No, it starts at 11.50.
Sorry, yeah,
11
sorry.
an hour.
The 13 is what they
I'm
make.
sorry, yes, and because it'll go to 13. I'll
Yeah.
explain how. But anyway, so it starts at $11 an hour. With that $11.50 an hour, let me make sure I'm
Yeah.
right about that.
50 cents.
So with that said, in that program, you're going to get a day's worth of training on the program. You're going to get a day's worth of training on, again, the interview process, because hopefully this turns into a job. You're going to get also training in that same day for soft skills. So that's really cool.
Soft skills. Can you cover what soft skills
Oh,
are?
soft skills is an amazing tool. And we talk about this a lot, because soft skills is basically telling you how to behave at work. And it's not just to behave like
I need to take that class.
It's not about being just a good boy. It's about being a good employee. It's about bringing value to the table based on who you are, your personality, and your contribution. So, being good with customers, being good with other associates, being clean, being on time, being courteous, knowing how to resolve conflict, without it escalating, knowing how to get to work 5 minutes early, and that's more valuable than getting there 5 minutes late. It's just about all those
Sure.
things, doing your job, doing your
Work
job well,
ethics and all
owning
that.
it.
Right,
It's all the simple
hygiene,
stuff,
everything.
right? Right.
Personal
Yes.
appearance,
People kind of forget this.
yeah.
So we have a little class on that. And the reason we do that is because now you're going into this 4 weeks training program. And in that 4 week training program, you're going to go through every asset of the store. Basically, it's a retail training program. So you get to, help unload the donations out there, maybe even help unload a truck, a delivery truck. You get to, work in the back room, moving pallets around, using the pallet jack. So you're going to experience the whole, experience of what happens in the back of the store. Then the following 2 weeks, you're in the front of the store. So marketing and displaying and customer service
skills.
Then you get a week at the register, right? So you get to learn how to use a register. During this 4 weeks, and you're going through all those things, you're getting kind of a report card. So that report card is very valuable because you could also take that to your next job interview, especially if it's a retail job interview, and say, I've been through this training program and here's my scores. It also includes things like your attitude and customer service and attendance. Any employer wants to see that, right? And that you've been through this training program. But here's where it even gets better. Is while you're in this 4 weeks training program and you're making $11.50 an hour, you're getting paid. It's it's paid. You're paid every 2 weeks. But while you're doing that, your case manager is still trying to find you another job. So now you got two things going on at one time. You got your case manager,
you're getting paid for, and you got somebody
and you got a case
working in the background to get you even
Right.
I'll
So
do their application.
further.
while you're in trial works, and even though you have a schedule, if we have a deal with the store manager over there that if that particular client says, "Hey, I have an interview, can I go to that interview?" They're going to let you go. They're not going to ding you for it. You're just going to take off, go to your interview, and come back because they know that not everybody that goes into trial works is going to end up with a job. Now, if you do a really good job in that 4 weeks, that store manager just might say, "Hey, man, you are awesome. I want you. I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
keep
want
you."
you. Yeah.
At that point, you go to $13 an hour with, after 90 days, you get the benefits. So, yes. So, you're working on two things at the same time, and you're also learning a trade that you could take and find a job in retail somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's really a powerful program, and, we started every 2 weeks. So, and it's a 4 week program. So it kind of, flips over itself, and just some good folks at the store that are very supportive with what we're trying to do here, very understanding. And during that 4 weeks, your case manager is still meeting with you once a week, still checking up on you, making sure you don't have any issues, reminding you what, soft skills are and your attendance. And if there is an issue, that store manager will call your case manager and say, "Oh, we need to have this gentleman work on this a little bit." So it's a really cool partnership that we have to help people be successful.
I personally know probably a dozen people at Goodwill Industries. This is in California, though, that have helped turn people's lives around. And they've told me their stories of Goodwill.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
I wanted to ask both of you
Sure.
for your most happiest story of a client that that you're still remember in your heart.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure you guys have one or two, but Lauren, maybe we start with you.
Well, sure. They're all my clients are great. First of all, let me say, because you got to figure everybody has their own story.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be too specific, but when you have someone who's living on the street, and you're able to just bring them in, that they're motivated, and you can do kind of everything in-house, and you can take that. Those are just the ones that it's just they come in, that you've gotten them help with the housing, you've gotten them employed, and you've built that rapport with them. So not just one specific story, but I do have several veterans that have come back, thanked me, or the program, specific. So
Those are the ones that almost give you a purpose.
well, yeah, because if they come back,
I got a purpose in life.
right,
now.
if they come back and they're like,
tears.
thank you, yeah, you helped me do this. We have a gentleman who actually went on to be a lawyer, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So there is no, it's whatever they want to do. And if you have that support, if you've got the resources to give them and the support, there's no end to what they can do. There's so many certificate programs that could lead into college. There's really no end.
Yeah. There's no end.
And you, Ron, do you have a special memory of a certain client?
I do. And one more recent, I mean, like Laura, I've been with Goodwill for a while, so I have a lot of people that really touched my heart. But there was one gentleman that came in. This was when I was brand new and I was a case manager at the time. And this gentleman came in. He had been living on the beaches of probably San Diego for years, and he had never really, he grew up really hard. Didn't have parents to take care of him. He grew up on the beach. He was comfortable there, and people liked him because he was a really fun guy and kind of a party guy and whatever.
Right.
And a group of folks down there that owned a surf shop took him in. And so that's how he survived. He would do things for them. He would, if he had to clean their yard, straighten out their warehouse, wash their cars, run for coffee, wash windows, paint their room, whatever it was, he did that. And they gave him, basically a place to stay sometimes, and they fed him. And they didn't really pay him all that much.
Okay.
Give him a little bit of money once in a while, but he lived this homeless life. And so he
A
decided,
real beach bum.
yeah, kind of almost living the good life.
Almost sounds like
He
it.
got older and it didn't work for him. And also what he told me was that the scene down there had changed, where it was more commercial. And so there was a lot of ordinances put in place not to have loitering. And
San Diego's real tough one.
yeah, so they chased him out of there. He couldn't make it in the city proper, so he ended up coming to New Mexico. And with that, no job, no experience, no identification, nothing. So as his case manager, I helped him get, his state ID.
Oh, and you guys do that too.
Yeah, we can help with state IDs.
Mhm.
We helped him get his birth certificate and social security card. So now we had documentation. And so we put him through all our training, to interview and taught him how to put in job applications, taught him about soft skills. And, we're trying to get him a job, but we needed to strengthen his resume, and I needed to work on his resume. So he had no work history. He'd never worked really. And I told him, well, time out. You have worked.
Yeah,
Because you're
all those
alive
things you just
and you've done
described.
those things. So
Yeah.
I told him, here's what we do. I gave a piece of paper and a pencil. I said, go take a time out and just write down the things you did to survive, and maybe write down the dates kind of roughly. So what we did was we took all that information and we put it in the timeline, and I put it down as if he were self-employed. So he did maintenance and he did yard work. He did car maintenance or detailing. He did run errands and was a messenger. And it was only maybe 4 or 5 things that we were able to put down. And
But
I
he
put in a
might
very
Might be a
professional.
great office assistant or
I
something.
put in a very professional format, so I bulleted it, just a 1-pager. And when I gave it to him, he looked at it, and it still blows me away. He started crying because he said, "That's me." I go, "That's you. You know how to do all that stuff."
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it just blew him away. But the cool part is that we ended up working to get him a job at a local restaurant, and they took him in based on that resume. And he has some skills, and he was successful there. But it was he just needed somebody to line him out, get him documentation, and help him through that process, because all of that to him was a mountain that he couldn't climb.
Right.
He didn't know where to start, what to do, didn't even know how to use a computer. But, the guy can, flip an egg and wash dishes, and so he's building a life. And so for the first time, he's
So
not
you
living
gave him
on
the
street.
foundation and all that, and then he just built on time.
Yeah.
He got to look at, wow, like when you said, "That's me."
Yeah, that's me. Like, well, yeah, that's you.
I help guys that come out of prison and jails, and
Yes.
they had their jobs in jail. All this,
Right,
plumbing and heating,
Mhm.
fixing air conditioners, and
Right,
working in the kit. And you put it all on paper,
right,
and that's me. I go, yeah,
right.
yeah.
right.
You worked for the state or the government, and you did all that, and that's a
That's
real
true.
job. You worked 8 hours a day, right?
It's true.
Maybe you only got 12 cents an hour, but you did them,
You
Yeah.
did the work, absolutely. And it doesn't matter where you get your skills, but everybody has skills.
Mhm.
If you're surviving, you
Sure.
have skills, right? And it's just a matter of putting them in a format that somebody can see them
Right.
and give you an opportunity, to capitalize on those skills, and give you the opportunity to maybe talk about what kind of value you could bring to their organization, not just based on those skills, but based on the type of person that you are.
Sure.
Caring, giving, thoughtful, detailed, organized, all those things that, that we all have different parts of that. And so we try to help people explain that, because I get a lot of
I could
folks.
come with all this education and background and stuff, and then somebody still might not want to work with me.
Right, and those are hard skills,
And
and hard skills are
you gotta,
valuable.
that's when you got to look at yourself.
Right, and I've been that employer before, and I can tell you that myself, I'd rather hire somebody with great promise than somebody that just has the right hard skills, because I can turn them into the person that I need them to be if they're willing and they have the right attitude.
If they're willing, that's.
Yes.
I always tell people. So here's a question or a riddle for you: how many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb?
How many?
It really doesn't matter because the light bulb has to want to change.
There you go.
So that's a little. You think about that.
Right.
That's-
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I
It's
like-
100 of them, and that's you can't.
It's
They
true.
can't change
I
the light bulb.
like that one. I was going to say I'll use that on my grandkids, but they don't know what a psychologist is or therapist is. Yeah,
yeah.
right. But you had mentioned, working with folks that have been incarcerated, right? And that's another program that we have.
Yeah, that's
So,
kind of my specialty.
is
That's
that
where
your
my heart. Yeah.
is that your specialty?
Right. That's my specialty.
Oh my God!
I
yeah.
also have another channel called Federal Prison Talk. Some of these guys are.
I did
I'm
bring
helping
you
guys-
a flyer for
I help
that,
people
too.
before they go
Right.
into prison and when they get out, but
Yeah.
prepare.
Oh, you give the flyer.
I did bring some literature
Okay.
for it because it is a new program. It just started on July 1st.
Oh,
A
great.
reentry
Okay.
program. Yeah.
Nice,
So,
nice.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's what Wings for Life is all about. We're
Right.
trying to help
Yeah.
family members that have people, loved ones locked up, and they're going to get out.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we try to help them,
So-
steer them in the right direction, find them jobs. We have programs we're working on and
Okay.
a workshop. So we try to bring the families together.
Mhm.
And
great.
Mary, so much more, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary is the cornerstone. She's the one that keeps this place together. But
There we go.
All right.
in a nutshell, tell them what Wings for Life does, Mary.
Wings for Life tries to break the generational cycle of incarceration.
Ah,
Because 72% of people that have been to prison, their children go to prison.
Oh, wow.
oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't know
Well,
that.
I would
That's a
like
high
to connect you
statistic.
folks with Matt. He's
Absolutely.
our case manager with the reentry program. It's a brand new program, and so we're hoping to see a lot of good things about that. So I'll have him contact you, and I'm sure you guys can support each other
Yeah,
just the way you
sure.
supported us.
I mean,
So
my
we
feeling,
really
if
like
the
that.
light bulb wants to change, I'll help
Right.
you.
Yeah.
But if the light bulb wants to go back to prison and doesn't want to change,
Well,
come
Yeah.
when you're ready. But I can't. Can't
Right.
force you to. So you got to have that psychic change. Something's
Right.
got to.
so
You got to
so
get tired of being sick and tired
Right.
of being
Well,
sick and tired.
Here's what we can
Something's
do.
got to click.
We can provide the light bulb.
Can you? There's a comment for you guys. Carissa, thank you for hosting this. I work with the Community Peer Education Project, and we utilize Goodwill often. My question is, does Goodwill offer computer literacy classes?
That is a great question, Clarissa. Thank you very much for asking that. Now, I need to back up a little bit, because there was this thing called the post-COVID world, and in that world, we had a lot of evening classes and afternoon classes that entertain things just like that, right? And so, so unfortunately, with COVID, that was one of the things we kind of fell away from for obvious reasons. And so, but now our staff is really talking and planning and investing and bringing all that back. So yes, I want to say yes, that's something we are going to provide. And so we
And what
would
about providing the computers? Because I'm sure most of your
We can
clients are
help
broke
out.
and they
we
can't.
can
pay.
help that. We have
We
a
have-
classroom with computers, right?
Mhm.
That how many do you think are in there?
In the one on San Mateo, there is 5, I believe.
5.
Mhm.
Okay.
But no computers.
well,
they can
that
take-
was for
no
the lab
computers
right
that they can
now.
have
So
on
when
their
they
own?
used to have the classes, and there's more. I mean, obviously, I couldn't tell you how many.
Sure.
They are restarting it again, and I believe
Mm-hmm.
Coda from BFS is going to be spearheading that.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
so
So it's
and
just going
that's-
to take some time to get all this.
right, and I
Okay,
think
so
the
the
ball
world's
is
starting to come
rolling on
back.
that.
Yes, the world
We
is
hope.
coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
One day COVID will be a mere memory.
Monkeypox 2 coming soon.
Don't
Coming
even
up.
say that.
So that's a belief.
But there's like if they are with with us, I was saying too, we do so the state has its programs as well, WIOA, that
Yes.
certificate things.
Yeah, I went through that myself.
Right. So there are things, if that's something that the state can provide, it's something we could look into as well.
Right.
If it's going to be a career that you wanted to get into and it wasn't something that the state was providing, that would be something we could look into for, of course, we can't promise, but we would look
Yeah,
into it.
Right.
Same thing would happen with if there was a computer class and this was it was pertinent in your career. Obviously we would look into something like we do the forklift.
Right.
We would make that investment in the individual.
Oh, okay. I know the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation.
Does the same
They'll
type
help
of-
them
right.
with money
Right.
for tools.
Right, and see, and
work
that's it,
clothes
and we're
stuff.
just another
See,
one
and we
too.
all just get together.
Exactly.
This person gives you the work clothes. They can give you the computer. They
Exactly.
can help you out with a car. They can help you out with your ID. And
It
it
is.
almost sounds like a full-time job to get all this done.
Yeah.
And it,
But if you
and
have-
it is.
well,
and
but
it
if you
is.
have all
But
these
the
people.
payoff,
Right, yeah. So,
the payoff. If you talk to the ones who actually get all
Right.
that done,
Well, like you
Yeah.
said, the light bulb has to want
has
to
to want to
change.
change.
yeah.
So we're
Because that shady area under there looks good. If
It
I was
does.
homeless right now, I could just sit there all day long. And
Yeah.
when I get some energy, I'll go with my sign and I'll come back. And it's not a life, though.
No.
No,
I've tried it.
it's not a life, yeah. You're right. So good. Yeah. What else can we tell you about our program?
What did I?
Other
Let me
questions?
grab my cheat sheet. What did I cover here? Goodwill Service. Oh, donations. People want to donate and all that. Let's. We're talking about you guys giving. What about people want to give back? Because I know a lot of Wings for Life people love to. We have volunteers here. People do community service here. Matter of fact, there's a few guys that just got out of prison and stuff that could really use your services that are doing community service here.
Uh-huh.
So if the court's order, they got 100 hours to do.
Right.
They can do that here, and we
Right.
teach them how to type and
Oh, I see.
and office skills and other things like that.
Right,
But
yeah.
it's kind of easy community service. It's better than
Right.
picking
So-
up trash on the freeway in 102 degrees.
Yeah,
Well,
somebody's
yeah.
trying to run
Well, you're
over you.
learning skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so donations, and can people do if you
We
need
can do-
volunteers and donations?
Yeah, that's not
Talk
something
about
we
that.
do as far as that kind of community service or folks donating their time. Everybody that works for us is on the payroll.
Okay.
And I would imagine primarily because, we're grant driven and, there's very specific guidelines on how we spend that money. Right. But as far as donations, the best thing that folks can do is take any goods to the donation center, and we're going to turn that into money so that we can not only just get these programs in place. Now, when I say get the programs in place, it's not just specifically paying for the program. It's the staff, the building, the lights, everything that we do, right, helps us in that operational aspect of the business. And so, yeah, that's the number one way that folks can
Do you
help
guys
us
do
help the
pickups
community.
anymore? Like people have
do
a
pickups.
couple beds and a couch they want to give you.
We do.
You guys still
we
do that?
Pickups. Yeah, we certainly do pickups. We just started.
You guys been doing that since I was a kid. When I was 8
Yeah.
years old, my grandmother used to call Goodwill. And
have them
that
come
was
pick up.
back in the 70s. So I know you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
They still do that. Yes, absolutely. So cool. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, okay. I've got one more thing I want to share.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Yes. Before you get off, I've been told that you're almost done with this program, but we got this in the mail today. We are very proud of this. I didn't even know that we were in the running for it.
Wow.
So next year, we'll really try to advertise. It is 2022 Albuquerque Journal Reader's Choice
Oh,
Top
nice.
3
Yeah.
a business
Awesome.
Let
owner.
me
So,
hold it up to the camera.
okay, I was showing it here, but
Congratulations.
yeah. So we just got that in the mail. So isn't that wonderful?
Congratulations.
That is
Yeah,
That's
great.
great.
Yes.
Good job.
We won the best nonprofit award, great nonprofit award every year since they've started,
Nice.
starting in 2015.
Yeah.
But and we always get that at the beginning of the year, so we're real proud of that. But getting this is very nice,
Yeah,
right here in
that is
Albuquerque.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. I
Congratulations.
saw you
Yeah.
holding that up, and I didn't know if that was good or bad.
Oh, okay. No, Mary was reminding me that we didn't mention that. And yes, I forgot that. So,
And that
that is
just
awesome.
shows that you guys are effective.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
well,
absolutely.
we work hard to
Yeah.
be effective.
Yeah.
And with our 4% recidivism rate, we're doing something right.
Wow. Yes,
So,
absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
So I'll bring it back to Sean, but I wanted to share that good news.
Thank
Yeah.
Oh, that's good news. That's
That
good
is.
news.
That's great
Yeah.
news.
She was holding up the sign.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no. I'm like,
She's all
I'm in trouble.
smiles.
First thing I thought, I'm in trouble. What is it?
I was trying not to look.
It's probably been it's been an hour, but I mean,
Wow.
if you guys are in a hurry, but maybe we can wrap it up with final words. From start with you, Laura, and then Ron, and
Okay.
final message to the world out there, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Final
The
words.
final message?
No, not the final. Just for today.
No, it's just honestly, so we are really passionate about what we do, and that not just for the veteran programs, but all around. We have a great team. We do believe in what we do. We, especially in like partnering with your program, your facility. We appreciate you including us and stuff like that.
I thank you guys so much for coming
and
down.
absolutely. Just it doesn't have, like I said, you don't have to be a veteran, even though, that's what I do, but just call literally, and there's something for everyone.
Oh, great. We had a dozen people in the room coming and going, but this replays, and we'll get a couple hundred by the end of the week, and then it stays forever. This video, so maybe by the end of the year, we get a couple thousand people get to watch.
Well, wouldn't that be nice?
So give it time. It doesn't always happen by Tuesday.
No, we
By
know,
Tuesday.
yeah, but we're here. We're here for them. We're here for anybody who needs the help.
Great, that's good to know.
Great.
And the number's been across the screen the whole time, guys.
Great.
And Ron, final.
Final words of wisdom. Well, Ron, you should say. But I want to start with saying thank you to you, Dan, for having us and letting us participate in this. And we'd love to be, a partner with you guys and just doing whatever we can do to help, one New Mexican at a time. And, God knows there's plenty of people out there that need the help. And our heart goes out to them. And we hope that by doing this, more folks will understand that it's as simple as calling that number that you saw on the screen. Ask for help. Let us know what it is you need. We will do the due diligence to get you in the right program. And I can promise you that the team that we have on board, folks like Laura and the rest of my team, and particularly our leadership team, everybody is there because they want to be, and they're there to help people. And when we teach, we've talked about this, when we drive around Albuquerque or New Mexico and we see folks that are struggling out there, man, it's how can we help? How can we help folks? It's all about people. And, and I think that we live in a world where we need more people to care about people. Yeah. It's that simple. And we want to do our best to utilize the program that we have to give back. And so please give us a call. And again, my name is Ron Saavedra, and if you call that number, I'm extension 1940. So please give me a call if you need to call me directly, and we can certainly give you some help.
Okay. See, what I love about doing the show is every week, I've been doing it 7 or 8 months now, but every week I get to bring somebody in here that cares about you. So when you say nobody cares about me, every week I prove you wrong.
Right.
There are people who care about you.
Well put.
So.
Well put. Great.
Next week, I've got Carrie Vendor from the city of Albuquerque who will help you get started help you start your own business. Get the license, the permits, everything you need for about $85. And if you need the $85, we got ways for you to get that. But you could start your own business and be your own boss. But you got to tune in next week to find that out. But you want some training and skills first, so that would be Goodwill Industries can help you get there, and then we'll work on getting you your own business. But it's all going to happen, guys.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank
and,
you.
all right, well, and one last person on here. Let me read their. Hello, Ambrosia and the community peer. I already read that, huh? No, this is Ambrosia. Hello, Ambrosia with the community peer education project here. Thank you for your kind support and the contact information to send out to those in need. Do you guys know Ambrosia? That's somebody from your office?
It might, maybe by face.
Thank you, Ambrosia.
Yes, thank you, Ambrosia.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Same time, same bat channel. What TV show was that?
Say bye, Laura.
1968, I think, right? You guys remember?